Hey guys, this is Dr. Samir Islam. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. So with the holidays coming up, I know it's a time for people to celebrate, to be with friends, and to enjoy food. But one of the more common problems with that is that your gut can go into a havoc by enjoying the foods that you typically don't normally eat, causing you to have a lot of different symptoms within your GI tract, whether it's bloating, reflux, constipation, change of bowels, and things like that. So tonight's video, I'm going to give you a couple of tips of what you can do to kind of help out with your gut during the holiday time so that you don't have to suffer from some of the GI issues that may accompany changing your normal diet or having a different routine from what you normally did as well. So one of the more common complaints that people come to see me for is bloating. And a lot of people have gas and bloating, and this can certainly get worse as the holidays come up. The foods that we eat make you eat a lot more. They tend to have a lot of substances in them to make you a lot more bloated, a lot gassy as well. So one of the things that could help out is to try to avoid certain foods that make bloating symptoms worse. Foods like sugary foods like cakes, cookies, and cobblers. These sugars within these particular desserts tend to make bloating symptoms a lot worse. And even if you use artificial sweeteners, it's those artificial sweeteners that can make bloating symptoms a lot worse as well. So try to minimize or avoid that to help out with gas and bloating. Moderation is key in these situations. If you eat a lot of these type of foods, or if you eat a lot in general, more than you normally do, you're going to get bloated, you're going to have gas, you may just feel miserable during the holiday time. So try to minimize or at least moderate how much that you eat. So also a nice little trick that I recommend is to drink a lot more water to fill yourself up. Your stomach's only a certain size, and if you fill it up with a lot of water, there's only so much you're going to eat before you get full. And so the more water you drink, the easier it's going to be to manage the gas and the bloating that may accompany eating some of the yummy foods that occur during the holidays. Another common problem is acid reflux because of the richness of the foods that people eat, the cheeses, the desserts, the sugars, that can cause acid symptoms to come up and cause burning, regurgitation, upset stomach, things like that. And so obviously one of the more important things to do is to avoid the sugar foods. The most common foods to cause reflux symptoms include spicy foods, tomato-based sauces, and carbonated drinks. Try to minimize those if you can to help prevent reflux symptoms from occurring. Now don't forget to take your normal acid reflux medications as well. If you're on a medication like a Nexium or Prilosec or even a Zantac or Zagrid, don't forget to take that. You may have to increase the dose to help control your acid reflux symptoms, especially if you are in a setting when you're eating a lot of rich foods and a lot of foods that just have a lot of tomato-based substances on them. And also, if you need to take an over-the-counter Rolaids or Tums, that's perfectly fine. Keep in mind that you are doing something that's a little bit different from what you normally have with your diet. And so if you do need to take an over-the-counter Tums or Rolaids, that is perfectly fine. But if you notice yourself doing this on a consistent basis, your acid reflux gets worse, even going back to your regular diet, you may need to see somebody to get that investigated as well. Another common symptom that people have during the holidays is constipation. And this occurs because you're changing your diet, you're changing your routine. You may be traveling to a different place, you may be visiting family, friends, you may have stresses. Because of that, you may not be doing the normal things that you typically do whenever you have a normal day. And also because of that, your diet may change as well. You may not be eating as healthy, or you may be going out to eat more and not eating the typical foods that you usually do at home. Foods that are rich in sugar and carbohydrates tend to make constipation symptoms a lot worse. They sit in your stomach, they stay there, they sit in your colon, and it takes a long time for them to finally pass through. So these can make these symptoms a lot worse, can make it more difficult as well to manage the issues with constipation. So if you're noticing yourself becoming more and more constipated during these times, one thing I do recommend is try to increase the amount of food that have a high content of both fiber and vegetables. This has been shown to help not only improve your health, but allow you to use the restroom a lot easier and to minimize constipation. Having a hot drink will help out as well. Having warm tea to help out with some of the bowel issues can allow the stool to pass a lot easier to prevent constipation from occurring. Taking a short walk outside, moving around is going to help move your gut around. I encourage all of my patients who can to exercise, move about, try and take a walk. That will help move your gut to allow you to use the restroom a little bit easier as well. Make sure you drink enough water. People during the times of the holidays don't drink enough water. It's hot outside, they want to be outside, they're talking to friends, they're eating good food, but make sure you drink enough water. If you don't drink enough water, that can make it more difficult as well to use the restroom. And lastly, one of the final recommendations I have is to try to skip out on some of the soda drinks, or at least minimize that. Those drinks have a lot of sugar, have a lot of calories, and this can make it more likely for you to develop constipation issues as well. So these are some tips I think that may help out with the constipation. So I want you to enjoy the holidays. I hope you guys have a great holiday as well, but make sure you try to implement some of these tips if you're noticing yourself having either gas or bloating, reflux, constipation, or just worsening GI issues. And I bet by implementing these recommendations, you will start to feel better.